Hey folks, some gadget guy here, and recently I've been struggling with one aspect of the gadget reviews that I've been doing. I've been getting a lot of questions on things like how the front-facing camera quality compares between a number of different gadgets. It's been a really hard thing for me to test. I do a lot of really in-depth camera reviews for things like smartphones and tablets for the rear-facing camera, because I kind of feel that's where most companies put a lot of their technology muscle, especially in terms of optics, especially like on the LG G2 versus the HTC One. You can really see the difference in aesthetic between what these two companies are trying to accomplish with the rear-facing camera. I kind of feel a lot of companies just sort of bolt whatever they've got handy into the front-facing camera because for a majority of people, that's going to be the camera that they use for video calling and not necessarily the thing that they're going to fire up when they want a nice photographic experience. But that got me thinking, like, what would be a good way to test these? And it kind of just hit me yesterday that what if I were to start doing a whole series of viewer questions and vloggy style videos using the front-facing camera on the different devices that I'm reviewing. So for this first video, I am using the front-facing camera on the Microsoft Surface 2. Not the Surface Pro, but the Surface 2. And the cool thing about the Surface 2 is it also allows me to plug in a different microphone. So I'm also using my standard SM57 that I use for all of my on-camera reviews, just for decent audio quality. And what I wanted to talk about today for this first video, this was a comment that was posted on my video comparing the G2 with the HTC One, and this is from Baron Gersek. And I do apologize if I'm butchering your name there, but he writes, "Every day I look at the G2 and regret buying the Note 3. It's so weird. While I play games, the screen dims and games start to freeze. It happens in every single game. I took it in for repair and they said nothing was wrong with it. My friends have the octo-core version. There are two different versions of the Galaxy Note 3. In non-LTE markets, it's an 8-core processor by Samsung. In LTE markets, it's the quad-core Qualcomm 800 series processor that we can also find in other devices too, like the LG G2. My friends have the octo-core one and they suffer the same issue. Anyways, hope you get better. I had the flu too. There's a nasty virus out there. Eat lemons. That helps a lot." Well, first of all, thanks, Barn, for just caring about my physical well-being. For those of you who don't know, I got laid out after CES with maybe the worst flu I've ever had in my entire life, and it hit hard, instantly spiked to 103-degree fever, almost had to go to the doctor. I probably should have gone to the doctor, so kids, definitely go out there, get your flu shots. I'm never gonna skip one ever again because I was miserable, and it put me out of commission for about a week. So Baron, I'm sorry to hear about your experiences with the Note 3, especially having played with phones like the LG G2 and also the LG phablet, the Optimus G Pro. I don't know that switching to a different phone will actually solve that problem. I think we're running into a power thermal barrier, which is going to be a conversation that we're going to need to start having if our mobile devices are also our primary gaming devices. So on the Note 3, there are a number of other things that you can do to help minimize that screen dim. I believe there are power saver features which control the brightness of the screen, give you like a window of control over how bright or how dim to save battery life. You can disable those. I know on the Optimus G Pro, there's also a setting buried deep. I haven't been able to find it myself. I was gonna try and show it for this video. But there's also a setting where you can disable that CPU throttling. So whenever the processor starts running really, really hot, the phone is going to try and reduce any potential for damage to the phone by throttling how fast the CPU is driving whatever it is that you're trying to do on the phone. Gaming is one of the most processor and GPU intensive tasks we can do on our devices. So what the phone is trying to do is prevent damage by slowing down the CPU and then also dimming the screen. Some of the things that are most responsible for heat, I would say the three things that are most responsible for heat would be the CPU, the display, and the battery. And so even on my LG Optimus G Pro, this phablet, which has got a lot more surface area, so you think it would do a really good job of dissipating heat. When I plug this thing in to charge, it will dim the screen when I do when I watch Netflix. I cannot watch Netflix while this is charging at maximum screen brightness. And I really do think it's because the battery is already warm, because batteries just heat up when you charge them. You know, you plug in the little charger and the back of your phone gets warm. It doesn't get hot, but it's already at an elevated thermal level than where it would normally be. And then you've got a big, huge, bright screen. Well, that's generating heat. And then there is a little CPU, GPU power being consumed just to display high resolution video over the wireless connection on these devices. So, unfortunately, this safety feature is going to start getting in our way when we start doing console quality gaming on mobile devices. It means that the window of time that we get to actually play games before the phone slows itself down and the screen drops in brightness is probably going to continue to get shorter and shorter and shorter until we can have some more in-depth conversations with device manufacturers about things like power efficiency in our phones. And throwing things like LTE radios isn't necessarily going to help as this problem sort of expands on the world market and LTE becomes more available, because LTE isn't necessarily the most power efficient radio to put into a phone either. So that's consuming juice, which is also wasting electricity. The byproduct of that is wasted heat, as you consume electricity for these types of phones. So, Baron, I'm really sorry I don't have a better answer for you to try and help with your situation there, but you can at least take some solace in the fact that if you're gaming that hard on a Note 3, then you'd likely be having the same problems on just about any other Qualcomm 800 or even Qualcomm 600 series phone or tablet out on the market. Tablets might be a little bit better at this just because they're so much larger, there's more surface area to sort of expel that heat. So hopefully we don't run into those same issues on larger screen devices, but if they're starting to hit phablets with how much more space we've got in a phablet, it means that it's likely that we'll start seeing this problem manifest itself in other areas. So folks, if you want a question answered or you just want me to ramble on about more stuff, definitely drop comments on my videos, because it's been fun sort of getting into conversations with you guys, and especially for the comments that you guys throw at me have been very helpful for some of the questions that I've had. So especially on my videos, I'm not lying when I ask, like, hey, what's your opinion on this? I really want to hear from you folks. And just as a reminder, from now on, whenever I'm doing these vloggy videos, I'll also make a point of saying what device it is that I'm using for the video that I'm shooting. So this was a viewer question shot on the Microsoft Surface 2, the front-facing camera on the Surface 2. So you can get a sense of what it'll look like when you use one of these tablets to do some video chat or to record your own vlogs. And as always, folks, thanks so much for watching, for sharing, for subscribing, and for asking all these great questions. And I will catch you all on the next video.